The last video we talked about the limitations of biological mind control because neuroscience doesn't understand how information is encoded in the brain and the central nervous system. And someone was cool enough to send me a link to an article written in 2007 of August by Discover Magazine, and the article is called 10 Unsolved Mysteries of the Brain. And that's what we're going to talk about. What are the 10 top unsolved mysteries of the brain? This is really interesting stuff, and it ties right into the last video that I did. So I'm going to go over all of the top 10 mysteries of the brain, and I'm going to make comments about each one. But before I go over the top 10 mysteries of the brain, I want to make a comment about what all of the top 10 mysteries have in common. You see, in philosophy, in psychology, in fact, in just about any of the sciences, an important distinction is made between the function of something and the structure of something. By function, we are talking about the intentions behind something, its purpose, what it does, its activities, and the result of that activity. For example, if you have a fork, the function for the fork is to pick up food. By structure, we are referring to physical form, how the object is arranged, its shape, its physical parts, and how those parts fit together into a whole. So the structure of a fork is a metal shaft with 3 or 4 sharp prongs pointed out from the shaft. In psychology, the mind in terms of function means what the mind does. For example, some of these functions would include memory, perception, reasoning, and emotional response. These different functions of the mind in psychology are called mental faculties. In psychology, when we talk about structure, we are talking about the brain, the physical structure of the brain, the parts of the brain, the neurons, the neurotransmitters, etc. The words mind and brain tend to be used interchangeably in common speech. However, in psychology and in the philosophy of mind, brain is used to refer exclusively to the structure of the brain, and mind is used to refer exclusively to the mental functions of the mind. So the basic assumption that biological psychology is based on, meaning the actual foundation that the entire subject is built on top of, is that the physical structure of the brain is responsible for the non-physical function of the mind. Mystery number 10. What is consciousness? Well, there's been a great deal of research done in an attempt to unlock the mystery of just what consciousness is. But not only is the phenomena of consciousness not understood on a structural level, but there isn't a good agreed upon functional model for just what this phenomena is either. One thing that's interesting about consciousness is that on a functional level, it appears to exist outside of the mind, as if it's looking in. For example, if you compare the mind to a computer, both the mind and the computer store information, both the mind and the computer input information, both the mind and the computer process information, and both the mind and the computer output information. But no one assumes that the computer is aware of what it's doing. Now, consciousness is like the computer user. It knows what the computer's doing, and it's guiding its operations. Mystery number 9. How do the specialized systems of the brain integrate with one another? This relates to consciousness. In other words, perceptual information flows into different parts of the brain. Sight goes to one part of the brain, sound goes to another part of the brain, taste goes to another part of the brain, and tactile sensation goes to another part. But when you perceive the world, you view all of these as an integrated whole, even though these different areas of the brain are not connected together. How does this work? No one knows. It's a mystery.